Hello everyone, it's Rayna. Since the beginning of the lockdown, I have been working from home and I feel extremely grateful for this because many people out there cannot work from home because either they're losing their jobs, unfortunately, or the job itself cannot be done remotely at home. However, I really wanted to make that video about home office during this COVID-19 pandemic and in general because we all might face a very serious issue, which is burnout. And it's a very dear subject to my heart because I have had two burnouts a few years ago, and I've had two in 6 months, which was a very difficult experience, let's say. Now, I'm not a specialist, as in I'm not a psychotherapist, so I'd like to give you an official definition of burnout before we continue. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. As the stress continues, you begin to lose interest and motivation. Burnout reduces productivity and saps your energy, leaving you feeling increasingly helpless and hopeless. Burnout can cause long-term changes to your body that make you vulnerable to illnesses such as colds or the flu, or in the current situation, the coronavirus. Because of its many consequences, it's important to deal with burnout right away. Now, I will link down below the extended definition of burnout and the sources I have, even though the World Health Organization has recently declared that burnout isn't an illness, which for me is very strange as a person who have experienced it. But anyway, now you might wonder, burnout at home? How come? What are you talking about? You're not in the office, you're at home. How come burnout? Well, there are different behaviors that can impact negatively your mental health while you are working from home and that can lead to burnout. Now, you can first of all be overworking yourself, simply. How? You wake up in the morning and at 7 or 8 a.m. you start your computer and the first thing you do is to check your emails. And the day continues, goes on, and before you know it, it's 11 p.m. and you're still working. Now, this isn't healthy for you. Also, you might lack communication with your management or with your team and then have a biased perception of the expectations of your management, which also isn't good. You might also have some difficulties to balance your work life and your personal life while you are constantly at home. Now, what can we do in order to have better behaviors, how to organize ourselves, and how to avoid this really unpleasant situation, which is burnout? Of course, everyone has his own personality. It really depends on your routine, really, and what your perception of work is. One of my friends, for example, she finds very productive to work in bed. For me, it isn't, but we are all different. It's perfectly fine and understandable to have different behaviors. And I'd still like to give you some tips and guidelines, which I highly encourage you to adapt to your own personality, to your own perception, and to your own rhythm of work, really. Now, I have already created a video about this topic. I will link it in the corner. And the first tip I'd like to give you is to set a desk in the corner of a room somewhere in your home, which will be strictly dedicated to your work. Because if it's possible, of course, it all depends on the home we have and the house we have, but it is very important to differentiate the room and the space. You have a desk where you work, you have the couch where you relax, you watch TV, you have a sofa where you read, you have a table where you eat, you have dinner, but differentiate your workspace. That way you can organize yourself better and you can really, it's a game of make-believe. You're in the office, so when you're in the office, you're on your desk. Now also, you have to stick to your usual routine, your usual business hours. Say you start usually at 8 a.m. or at 9 a.m. and you finish at 6 p.m., for example. Well, start your computer at the same time and shut it down at the same time. You are, again, this is the same game of make-believe. You're still in the office, so respect your schedule and take a lunch break regularly at the same time you would take your lunch break when you were in the office. So just copy-paste your behavior from the office to your home. Also, communicate with your management if you have some concerns or some worries, if you don't understand some tasks they've given you. Really communicate and express your concerns openly with your management without any judgment, and really engage a judgment-free and dialogue of understanding and mutual understanding. Also, you have to really adapt to the situation. Now, many businesses are suffering right now because of the lockdown, really. And if you have more tasks than usual and you have to make and to give longer shifts because the tasks are urgent, of course you have to do them, and it is very important to keep the business alive. It's really a balance and really a matter of adaptation to the situation and to your business. But also, don't forget to think about your mental health, which is very important. And have healthy habits, really. Eat healthy food. Stay hydrated. A regular water intake. Put a bottle on your desk and have a regular water intake, really. Exercise regularly. I do. I exercise regularly, which helps me feel energized during the day. Also, meditation is a great tool. Now, I haven't meditated, I haven't tried meditation, but I know that many people find it useful. So it's a great tool and a great idea to try on meditation, for example. I'm maybe thinking of trying it myself. Why not? And really do things that make you feel energized. Dress up if you like. Put some makeup or don't. Really, whatever makes you feel comfortable and energized to start the day and to be productive and happy, really, about yourself and about the work you give. If you have any recommendations, don't hesitate to put them down below in the comments. I would really love to read any ideas or tips you might be able to add to mine. If you have experience with burnout, please do share. I would really love to read your comments, and it is important for us to help each other and to be able to learn from each other's experiences. Please give me a thumbs up if you found that video helpful. Don't hesitate to share it with other people that might be struggling right now. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I will be posting more videos about mental health. And until then, take care of yourselves both physically and mentally.